The Cardinals and the Packers in Green Bay, both coming off wins in LA. The Cardinals coming off a pretty good win, against San Francisco. Like they got a little bit lucky with some turnovers late, but 14-0, they outscored the 49ers in the second half. That's a huge win for them to get back in. They lose that game, and all of a sudden the season could be on the brink. The Packers, on the other hand, they survived a late comeback by the Rams. It felt really comfortable for Green Bay fans probably throughout much of that third quarter. And we're getting ready to do our show. We're watching the game like, okay, Packers won, check. And then all of a sudden you're like, wait, the Rams could come back. And for Ziggy and I, Vikings fans, are like, oh, all right, this could be big. Separation's what we want in the NFC North. And Green Bay was able to hold on there at the end. A couple quick injury notes. Jair Alexander, Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, isn't injured, but was out for the game, suspended. They're all practicing right now. Devontae Wyatt did not practice on Wednesday. So Packers could be getting some big-time players back for this matchup against the Cardinals. And a fairly red-hot Kyler Murray after last week. So, Ziggy, where do you see, as the resident closeted Packers fan, where do you see this game? Where do you see this game going?
I mean, I mentioned it during our power rankings. I'm not sure which will come out first, but I think this Cardinals win over the 49ers was close to a fluke. It relied on the 49ers having their kicker get injured and have literally nobody who could kick a field goal more than 25 yards. Romeo Doubs is back for the Packers. He's practicing. He's going to be playing fully. And even without Romeo Doubs, of an offense that didn't look great, the Packers were able to go on the road and beat a Rams team that, while they're not the best in the NFL, is a solid team. They're a tough out, even though they're 1-4. Now you get to go home. You're 3-2. Jordan Love, he's playing at home for the first time since the Vikings disaster. Things are starting to click, and we saw that, I think, in the Rams game. I don't know how you don't see this game and think Packers blowout. As much as I hate to say it, as much as I'd love for the Vikings to get an even bigger lead in the division, it sure seems like an angle. This is the kind of game that the Packers just win. It's the kind of, they just win these. I know it.
I'm totally with Ziggy. I think the fact the Packers lost their last home game, the biggest game of their season to date, against Minnesota, tough comeback, lost by 2. Jordan Love now is healthy. The Cardinals just had a big emotional win on the road at San Francisco. This just shouts now they go to Lambeau against a hungry Packers team who's back at home for the first time since that loss. And I agree, Ziggy. I think Green Bay blows them out.
I do think one area the Packers can take advantage of, and this is, I know I've been a little stat heavy in this episode, but the Cardinals' rush defense has been poor this year. They're 28th in the league. Josh Jacobs and the Packers' offense, to be fair, Jordan Love was out for a few games, and they really relied on the ground game, but the ground game was great without Jordan Love. And Josh Jacobs has been going at times. They're third in the NFL right now. In their wins, actually just this year, they've just been excellent running the football. But 261 against the Colts, 188 against the Titans, 126 last week. They were under 100, held under 100 against the Vikings. The Packers' rushing offense can, if they're able to get that going, then things open up for Jordan Love, who now has the receivers back. That's where you can get into dangerous territory if you're Arizona. I don't think this is a blowout. The Cardinals tend to play up and down to their competition so far this season. So I do see them keeping it close throughout. And I really do think Kyler Murray is good enough to win this game. Like, without Kyler Murray, the Cardinals are 1-8. I think over the past 2 years, they're 5-8 with him. Not a great record, but without Kyler, this is one of the worst rosters in football. Oh, yeah. Or they play like one of the worst rosters in football. So just his presence there will keep it close. But I do see Green Bay pulling off a close win at the end where maybe they stop Arizona, get the ball back and knee it out.
I mean, the big factor here for me, I love my guy, Jaden Reed. He's been awesome. He's been balling out. He's been awesome. And it's Green Bay being at home in Lambeau Field. Like, this game is different to me if it's in Arizona, but the fact it's in Lambeau off that loss to Minnesota.
Yeah, there's only one team in the NFL that owns Lambeau Field, other than Green Bay, and that's the Minnesota Vikings.
Exactly. Yeah. Steelers too. I think we won the last time we were there also.
I'm just playing around, but yeah, I do think that being at home at Lambeau, you're right. I do like that. Hey, let's come back and reiterate whose house this is.
Yeah.
They're 5-point favorites. I think Packers -5 might be a walk of the week.
I am more confident again. I'm more confident here, Ziggy. How do you like this? I'm more confident in Detroit beating Dallas, I think, than I am the Packers beating Arizona.
I think that's crazy.
But you're more confident in
Detroit beating Dallas than the Packers beating the Cardinals.
No, the Packers are a bigger lock to me than the Lions are.
When was the last time the Packers lost a game like this?
I mean, can the Viking game count?
No, the Vikings are a much better team than the Cardinals.
When did they lost? I don't know. They don't really lose games like that.
Do we think the Packers are a top 20 team in the NFL? I'll own it. I was wrong about this team. I thought there was upside, and I think there is long term. Are they a top? I know they beat the 49ers.
The Cardinals?
But are the Cardinals a top 20 team?
I think they're probably a top 20 team.
It's close.
It's borderline, right?
I was going to say, could you compare it a little bit to when they lost to Tampa at home last year? I mean, the Bucs were a playoff team divisional round, so that does feel a little bit.
This Cardinals team, the Packers don't lose to bad teams. I'm sorry, I've seen this too many times. I'm with you. I want them to lose this game. It's
no, I think they'll win. I do think they'll win, but I think it'll be a good game. I think Arizona keeps it, generally speaking, keeps it kind of close.
That little mouse won't beat Green Bay and Lambeau.
I'm trying to think if the Cardinals are in my top 20. I think probably at this point in the season. Just going through teams quickly off the top of my head.
Cardinals or Steelers? Who do you have higher?
The Steelers would beat the Cardinals. The Steelers would have... So the Cardinals are the kind of team against the Steelers where they would have some fluky bullshit happen at the end.
They'd have like 6 turnovers.
Watt would have a crazy stat, yeah. So I do agree with you, though. I have the Packers winning this one. And it's kind of funny in the NFC North. We're not there yet, but we're kind of getting to the point where every single team is watching every single team each week. Like usually you have at least one or two teams that kind of fade off, but with the way they're all kind of ascending too, which is the scary thing for NFC North fans. That if the Packers lose this, they're looking over and they go, "Oh, if the Bears win in London in the morning, like, all right, we're behind Chicago." Like if you're behind, the Packers could be in last. Easy.
I mean, yeah,
the Lions could lose to the Cowboys and then be in last in the NFC North.
Yeah. And what were you, a third of the way through?
Yeah.
We're a third of the way through.
All these teams are having, for the most part, very good years. But between the Lions, the Bears, and the Packers, they could all be in second or last next week in the division. And, and then you have undefeated Minnesota at the top. So it's a lot of fun.
For a bye. It's a nice time for a bye.
It is. I can't wait for that Viking Lion game. All right, let's get into Zig or Zag here. Oh, bless you.
Zig.
Is that
Zag?
Was that
Zig-zag.
Ziggy like kind of getting into Zig or Zag?
Oh, he's getting into it.
His body was alerting him. It's time. All right, Ziggy. Zig or Zag? Give us a.
Hold on, Ziggy. Can we sell some of your mucus to our fans?
Oh.
How much would that go for? How much do you think that would go for some people?
It's $0.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I mean, I guess you have guys like Kevin Durant who are saying like they'd buy Scarlett Johansson's.
I mean, so would I.
Bathwater.
Let's just
Zig or Zag. All right. Zig or Zag.
I told you what my lock of the week was, so I've got to put it in Zig or Zag. Packers at home against the Cardinals
Good
-5.
Man. Come on.
No, the Vikings aren't playing. Right? I've taken the Vikings line against Zig or Zag a bunch of times, and it's always worked. Are you telling me the Packers don't blow out the Cardinals? Packers -5.
Yeah, total.
Final answer.
Total Zig. Total Zig. I think they blow them out.
I guess I'll zig because I think they're going to win by a touchdown. I think it's a close, it's a one-score game. I don't think they blow them out. But yeah, I guess. I mean, no, just the conviction with which he said it. And he was like, lock of the week.
Oh, I've been hurt enough. It's the lock of the week.
Okay.
Total zig.
So we do both zig, though.